first day of our celebrations, and we are supposed to learn Ashtavakra Gita, isn't it? So I will spend a little time on that. At least we should make a ceremonial beginning of the scripture. First and foremost, I want to bless and thank all the people who have done this book. This is the first volume. Only chapter 1 is one full book. Why? Because there's a lot of cross references and introductions to many concepts of Advaita, of our Vedanta. As I said, Bhagavad Gita is the ultimate book on all knowledge systems of the country, of all philosophies that India can ever think of or has. But Ashtavakra Gita is very clear, one idea all throughout the book. It's Advaita, it's Vedanta. All through the book, it only talks about that. In the light of Vedanta, it explains bhakti, it explains karma, it explains any other type of yoga. But the light that we use to look at things is that of Advaita. So everything is in the light of that Advaita Vedanta that Ashtavakra talks about. I'm not going to start off the teaching of the book today. I will just introduce a little bit. I was thinking if I have to have a Dhyana Shloka for Ashtavakra Gita, what would that be like? Bhagavad Gita Dhyana Shloka is Sarvopanishado Gavo Dogdha Gopala Nandanaha Partho Vatsa Sudhir Bhokta Dugdam Gitamritam Mahat. Everybody knows that. If all the Upanishads can be thought of as a cow, then the cow herd boy or the milkman is Sri Krishna, Gopala Nandana. And Partha, that is Arjuna, is the calf, Sudhir Bhokta, of good buddhi, as well as somebody who can understand that knowledge that is being given, consume that knowledge. Such a deserving Shishya is Arjuna. And Dugdham, the milk, is Gita Amritam, the immortal nectarine essence of Gita. Mahad, the greatest immortal essence, is Bhagavad Gita. So I thought I will modify this to what will be the Dhyana Shloka for Ashtavakra Gita. What is the essence of Ashtavakra? If you think of all the Vedanta Shastras, our Shastras deal with many things, but only Vedanta Shastra. Sarva Vedanta Shastro Gao. If all the Vedanta related books alone are taken, then consider them like the cow. And Dogdha Ashtavakra Gurum. The milkman here is Ashtavakra himself. And Janako Vatsa Sudhir Bhokta. Janaka is the king who is the calf here. Sudhir Bhokta. He is also a person of great intelligence and spiritual abilities, because otherwise he cannot consume and digest this knowledge. And Dugdham Ashtavakra Gitam Mahat. The milk is Ashtavakra Gita. This beauty of Ashtavakra Gita you will understand over a period. But today I suddenly got a message in the morning from somebody who was very worried. They said, once you read Ashtavakra Gita, all your concept of Bhagavad Gita, they will be destroyed. You will get confused and it may leave you, totally disillusioned and something like that, which many have told. Then the problem of the devotee was, do you think we will be able to digest and assimilate this Vatsa, Sudhir, Bhokta? Will be able to stomach this kind of wisdom when we are not capable of it? So don't worry so much and just learn. So you learn Ashtavakra Gita, it's important. But there is no conflict. If you read it correctly, understand it correctly, there is no conflict between any scriptures in Ashtavakra Gita. So don't start with that wrong notion that, oh, this will confuse me, this will derail my spiritual progress, or this will leave me confused about the concepts that I've learned already. No, just be open-minded. That is the most important qualification for learning anything. Be open-minded, because knowledge can come in so many ways. Anu Badra Krutvo Yantu Vishwata. Let knowledge come to us from all directions. Let us learn and take what we can assimilate, what we can understand. Enjoy that. Don't worry about too much of technicalities. And it's a very simple text, beautiful Sanskrit, very simple Sanskrit. Even Bhagavad Gita Sanskrit is tough. Upanishads is tougher. And some of the Vedas are even older Sanskrit, so it's very difficult. Many of the words don't exist in today's parallels, then we don't use them. But Ashtavakra Gita seems to be very recently composed. And the wisdom might have been there. But we were all people who always had these oral traditions. We only passed the knowledge by speaking or teaching them orally. So must have been in the oral form for a long time, maybe in much difficult Sanskrit, but must have been composed much later than Bhagavad Gita. Again, there's no name of the writer. We all believe is Ashtavakra's wisdom, and Ashtavakra has said this. Like Bhagavad Gita still is a part of Mahabharata, and we know the Vyasa has composed it. He has taken the wisdom of Sri Krishna and composed it in Bhagavad Gita form. But Ashtavakra Gita, I do not know the author for it. It must be something that has been passed down orally and later kind of composed into a text. So this is the wisdom of one boy, not even a man. That is very interesting. A man, old man with grey beard and no hair and years of penance and renunciation sounds good, Yajnavalkya or Aruni or somebody like that would sound good, Vashishta, Vyasa and so. Ashtavakra is a 10-year-old boy. I'm sure he's younger than most of the people in this room. And that fascinates me because a 10-year-old boy with such wisdom, how on earth is that possible is the first question that should increase. So many of the children should be knowing that because they shouldn't think this is some kind of a old man giving lecture. No, it's a young boy talking about his wisdom. So that's very interesting, first thing, Ashtavakra. And who is the Shishya? Janaka Maharaja. He's an old man, must be in his 70s, 80s or whatever. And he is the disciple. So the Guru is so young, the disciple is so old. And Guru seems to be just a boy who might not, what can you learn in 10 years of your life? So he's bringing this knowledge from somewhere else, from another lifetime. And Janaka is already a wise and a learned king. He was running the kingdom. And Janaka is known as one of the finest kings that India ever had. And he was a contemporary of Dasharatha because Janaka was the father of Mother Sita. So he's the father-in-law of Sri Rama. So he's from that yuga, Treta Yuga. And this story must have happened at that point in time. But there are no real historical, again as I said, references except in Mahabharata at one place. It is mentioned in the Vanaparva of Mahabharata. In that there is a sub-chapter called Tirthayatra Parva, within which the Pandavas and they are going from one ashrama to the other when they were in 12 years of exile. During that time they come to the ashrama of a rishi called Lomasha. So this Lomasha Rishi's ashram also they come while they are moving around the forests. And Lomasha Rishi tells them this story of Ashtavakra. And that is where the Ashtavakra has been introduced. And that story is very interesting. Today I'll only tell that story and tomorrow we will start the thing. Because it was quite elaborate, but I have picked up some parts of the story to bring to you. So who is this Ashtavakra and how does he learn so many things? So this Ashtavakra was born to Sujata and Kahoda. Sujata was the mother and Kahoda was the father. Now this Rishi Kahoda was the disciple of another greater Rishi by name Uddalaka Aruni. His mention comes in Chandogya Upanishad also, and one of the Mahavakyas is by Uddalaka, who teaches his son Shvetaketu. I mean, which is that Mahavakya which Uddalaka has taught? Tattvam Asi. Tattvam Asi Shvetaketu. That is the sentence. So the same Uddalaka's daughter was Sujata and son was Shvetaketu. Sujata was older daughter, Shvetaketu was a very young son. Now Sujata is married to Kahoda, who is the disciple of the same Rishi Uddalaka Aruni. Now Kahoda is very brilliant student, also a great debater. In those days, everything was about debate. If you want to prove your supremacy over any other philosophy or person, you must engage in a debate and win over the debate, and that is how you establish yourself as superior to the others. And then whatever philosophy you are promoting, the same thing will become the standard. We have heard that Adi Shankaracharya also argued, right, to establish Advaita philosophy over the Purva Mimamsa. So he argued with Mandana Mishra, who was from the Purva Mimamsa. That Uttara Mimamsa is Vedanta, Purva Mimamsa, which was more about Karma Kandas. So Adi Shankaracharya debates with him and then debates with his wife Ubhaya Bharati and finally establishes Advaita as the supreme most principle of our philosophy. Here this Kahoda is also known for his debating skills. So Sujata and Kahoda, they marry with the blessings of Uddalaka and she is now has conceived Ashtavakra. Ashtavakra is in her womb. Now that time, because there was poverty and ashramas were running only on donations and charity. So Kahoda thinks that now I am going to have a baby. Let me have some financial wherewithal so that I can take care of my family well. And he hears that Janaka, the great king, has organized a great debate in which one great debater, a rishi by name Vandin, is there and he is challenging all the rishis around to defeat him in debate on our philosophies. And whoever gets defeated by him, there is a punishment, there is a rule. And the rule is the one who has lost the debate must go and drown himself in the ocean. I mean, that is the end of his life, so that there is no more debate in the future. Put an end to such an opponent. That was his strategy. And Janaka was a great king. He encouraged a lot of such things, yajnas, yagas, and such debates. And Vandin was in his court and he was doing this debate with great rishis. And so many rishis in the process got drowned in the ocean because they could never defeat Vandin. Vandin was so strong in his debating skills and he was very knowledgeable. No, Kahura thinks that if I can defeat Vandin, I can become Janaka's preceptor. I can become the rishi of the court. And so I'll never have any dearth of anything in my life. And Janaka is a very large-hearted king, so he wanted to debate with him. So he started practicing all that he knew. So while he was practicing, this boy in the womb of his mother, Sujata, was listening to everything and learning everything. Do we know of anybody else who learned something in the womb of the mother? Abhimanyu learned about, but he half learned because his mother slept off. So if you sleep off through my class, you will also learn half. And half knowledge is dangerous. So please be awake. So this boy in the womb was listening to all things, whatever his grandfather Uddalaka would chant, or Shvetaketu would chant, or Kahola would chant. He had absorbed all the wisdom. So when Kahola was practicing one evening, he heard the recitation and said, "You are making mistakes." Imagine, from the womb he spoke that, "Father, you're making a lot of mistakes in whatever you're chanting." And Kahula got very upset. He said, "He's not even born and already he's criticizing me. Look at this fellow. And once he's born, what will he do to me? He will have no respect for me." So in his anger, in a fit of anger, he curses that baby in the womb that your thinking is crooked. You are criticizing your own father. So you be born with a crooked body, with 8 bends in your body. Ashta means 8, Vakra means bends. So with 8 bends in your body, you will be born. Out of anger, he curses. Anyways, things go on. Then he goes to Janaka's court to debate with Vandin, but he loses the debate, unfortunately. And now what is the fate of this person, Kahola Rishi? He has to go and drown himself in the ocean, which he does. The mother is crestfallen. The baby is just born. The grandfather does not know what to do. So they say, let us not tell the baby that his father is no more. Let us keep quiet about it. So this baby, when it starts growing, who is now Ashtavakra, he is playing in his grandfather's lap, but he does not know that this is the grandfather Uddalaka and not his father. So when grandfather is showing so much of love to the new grandson, this other son, which is Shvetaketu, he is also a little older than this boy, that's it. Gets very jealous and pulls this baby out of the grandfather's lap and says, "He is not your father, he is my father." And then Ashtavakra realizes that, "Oh, this is not my father." Then he goes to his mother and says, "Who is my father? What happened to him?" And the mother then narrates the story of how his father lost the debate to Vandin, and that is how he has been killed in a way. He is drowned now. So then Ashtavakra thinks, "I must grow up and debate with this Vandin and defeat him to take revenge." And so he starts secretly preparing for that debate. And the debate is going on for years. Nobody can defeat him. So when Ashtavakra is of 10 years of age, he slowly, Shvetaketu, who is his uncle, slightly older than him, he convinces him that, Janaka is performing a great yajna, a lot of good things are happening. And as Brahmins, if we go, he will give us a lot of gifts and good food to eat. Let us go. He doesn't tell him that he wants to go and debate with that Vandin over there. He simply tells, let us go because we will get good food to eat. They are poor. So he convinces and both of them go to Janaka's Yajnavatika. And the guards stop them because they have no right to enter. So our Ashtavakra starts arguing, "You must let us in." He says, "No, you are not supposed to come in. You are very young. This is only for the grown-ups." He says, "There is nothing called young and old. Wisdom is the way we should decide who is old and who is young. Not by the body or the grey hair or the beard. I have the wisdom of the old people and therefore I am as old as them." The guard says, "Nothing doing, all these arguments are not going to work." Then some noise is happening, so Janaka comes saying, "What's going on at the gate?" And then these people say that, we want to enter the Vatika and we want to debate with Vandin. He says, "Do you even know who Vandin is? You're a boy after all. And what happens when you lose the debate?" He says, "I know all of it. Please let me in." Janaka says, "Nothing doing. You are not qualified. You will not come in." And he goes away. Then he again bothers the guard at the gate. please let me in, let me in. He says, no, nothing doing. We will not let you in. And then Ashtavakra says, see, this is very wrong. I am a Brahmin and I can curse you and can imagine what can happen to you. So the gatekeeper gets worried. He says, see, I don't have the right to let you in, but I don't want to be cursed either. So do one thing, you chant the praises of Lord Janaka. Janaka likes it. So once you chant praises of him, he will come again. You then slowly, kind of get your way into the Vatika. So he starts chanting great verses in the favor of Janaka, saying, you are as great as your forefather Yayati. You conduct yajnas even better than them, and you give more charity and gifts and so on and on. So Janaka again comes back, says, what is that you want? He says, no, please let me in. He says, no, I can't, because this is a great debate and you are very young and you will get killed. Many great ones have come, and looking at Vandin also they returned without even arguing. And you should not be entering this. But he is adamant. He wants to go inside. So he tells Janaka, you check whether I am worthy of debate or not. And Janaka then finally, relents and asks him some questions. A lot of questions are there. A few nice questions are there. Like he asks, what is that which sleeps with eyes open? What is that which does not move even after it is born? What is that which does not have a heart? And what is that which grows in speed within itself? These are the four questions, and more questions also, I'm sure, Janaka asks. Ashtavakra replies to all that. He says, fish do not close their eyes and sleep. An egg is already born, but it does not move. A stone does not have a heart, and a river increases in speed as it moves within itself. Janaka is convinced that this Ashtavakra is extremely knowledgeable. And he says, okay, in that case, I will let you in, but you are at your own risk. There is a good possibility that you will get killed today. I will see to that I defeat Vandin. And with that confidence, he enters the Yajnavatika and shouts on the top of the voice, today I will see to that this Vandin is no more by end of the day. I'll defeat him in debate. 10-year-old. So don't forget that 10-year part. And this Vandin who is there in the performing his own rituals gets very upset. At the end of it, Ashtavakra says, I will defeat you by end of the day, and you will be stuck in debate like a chariot without wheels. And then Vandin gets very upset and says, let's debate then. Let me see. I will see to that I crush your ego. So they start the debate, and debate is very interesting. I just got a page from there. This is how the thing happens, that they start with numbers, number 1, and they have to describe certain things about number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, like that. They have to go on, and whoever loses or stops loses. So it starts like that, like Vandin starts like one only fire blazeth forth in various shapes, one only sun illuminates this whole world, one only hero Indra, the lord of celestials, destroyeth enemies, and one only Yama is the sole lord of the Prithis. So about one he talks that there is only one sun, there is only one fire, there is only one Indra, there is only one Yama, lord of Pitris, like that. So Ashtavakra starts. The two friends, Indra and Agni, ever move together. The two celestial sages, Narada and Parvata, twins are the Ashwini Kumaras. Two is the number of the wheels of a car, and it is as a couple that husband and wife live together as ordained by the deity. So he describes the number 2 and what happens around number 2. Then Vandin says, 3 kinds of born beings are produced by acts. The 3 Vedas together perform the sacrifice, Vajpaya. At 3 different times, the Advaryus commence sacrificial rites. 3 is the number of words, and 3 also are the divine lights. This is the description of 3. Then Ashtavakra will continue. 4 are the ashramas of the Brahmanas. The 4 orders perform sacrifices. 4 are the cardinal points. 4 is the number of letters. And 4 also, as is ever known, are the legs of a cow. Then Vandin continues, 5 is the number of fires, 5 are the feet of the meter called Punki, 5 are the sacrifices, 5 locks, it is said in the Vedas, are on the heads of the Apsaras, and 5 sacred rivers are known in the world. Then Ashtavakra said, 6 cows, like that. This will go on for some time. So I'll skip all the numbers. I will directly go to the final one. So as they go from 5 to 6 to 7 to 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, at 13, the Vandin is already explaining. Vandin said 13th lunar day is considered the most auspicious. 13 islands exist on earth. And then Lomasha, the rishi, is telling the story. Having proceeded thus far, Vandin stopped because he could not think of more items for 13. And Ashtavakra starts saying 13 sacrifices are presided over by Kesi, and 13 are devoured by Atichandas, the longer meters of the Veda. And seeing Ashtavakra speaking and Suta's son silent and pensive and with head downcast, the assembly broke into a long uproar. because Ashtavakra continued when Vandin got stuck. So with that 13th number, when he explains, with that Ashtavakra wins the debate. And once he wins the debate, what does he do? He demands that now Vandin should go and drown in the ocean because he has to take revenge. Then Vandin, with folded hands, he's humbled now, says, I was not having any intentions to kill anybody, but my father is Varuna, the lord of water. And he was also performing a yajna simultaneously while Janaka was performing, because of which there were no priests available. Everybody had gone to Janaka's yajna, which was going on for 12 years. So for my father's sake, to fulfill his desire, I had to send priests to his yajna. So I would defeat them in the debate and, so to say, kill them in the river or ocean. But from there, they will proceed to the loka where my father lives, the loka of the water, the world of the water. And there they are performing all the yajnas. Nobody is died. They have only transition from this loka to that. Now this will sound a little too much for the children, but then we know that there are bodies and lokas beyond the physical loka. And with certain yogic powers, one can travel between these. So these were all sent to the other loka of water. And now Vandin says, my father's yajna is over now. I will bring them all back, including your father Kahoda, so that you do not have to curse me. And so he brings back all the sages who were, so to say, who had died because of defeat in the debate, and all of them come back, including the father of Ashtavakra. And Ashtavakra's father is very pleased and he blesses Ashtavakra that all his deformities should go away, and he tells him, go and have a bath in a sacred river called Samanga, which will set right all your physical abnormalities. So he goes, does that, and Ashtavakra his health is restored, his body is straightened. This is the end of the story of how Ashtavakra has been introduced in Mahabharata. And then later, sometime in Adhyatma Ramayana, there is a mention of Ashtavakra, where Dasharatha, in a subtle body, after his death, after the war of Ramayana, the Lanka war, he appears to Sri Rama and tells, you have redeemed me like how Ashtavakra redeemed his father. That mention is there in Ramayana, also in Adhyatma Ramayana, which is written much later. So the idea is that this Ashtavakra was truly a personality, is history. Please don't think of it as mythology. It was history, itihasa. It is a part of Mahabharata, it is itihasa. And Ashtavakra, being a young boy, thus becomes the guru of Janaka. Because he has won the debate, now he is the priest of the court. And he is the Raja Rishi there. So now the Ashtavakra Gita is about the conversation that happens between Janaka Maharaja and Ashtavakra over the course of their association. And Ashtavakra is the one who grants Janaka Maharaja self-realization because of the wisdom that he has imparted. So you may ask, what if we read Ashtavakra Gita like Janaka learned from him? Will we also become self-realized at the end of this 100 days of Ashtavakra Gita? My answer is yes and no. Yes, if you are really as sincere as Janaka Maharaja. No, if you are not. Because the wisdom is same. It depends on who is receiving it. In Kathopanishad it says, Shravanayapi bahubhir yona labhyah shrunuvantopi bahubhir yamna vidyuhu ascharyo vakta kushla asya labdha ascharyo jnata kushala anushishtaha. It means this is the knowledge of the self. Shravanayapi bahubhir. By listening to it in many ways also, you cannot understand it easily. It is not gainable by that. Shunvantopi bhava. In various ways also, if you listen from various people also, you listen yamna vidyuhu. It's not easily known. It's not understood by so many people. But who gets to know it? It says Ascharyo Vakta. The speaker of this knowledge, the teacher of this knowledge should be Ascharyo Vakta, a great one, a wonderful being, the knowledgeable one, the enlightened one should speak. Ascharyo Vakta is the first part. But Kushala Asya Labdha. And the one who must receive it and gain it should also be Kushala, adept, capable. That's why Sudhir Bhokta is saying, should be able to stomach this knowledge, digest it. So both sides, this requirement is the teacher should be good, the student also should be good. Ascharyo Jnata, the knower of this knowledge should be a person of a wonderful demeanor. It's wonderment to even know and see such a person, Jnata. Kushla Anushishta. And the one who learns and practices it later also must be truly deserving. When both happens, then this self-realization will happen through this knowledge. If it's only one without the other, then it cannot happen. It's a good beginning. It tells you what is what, and it will encourage you, inspire you to follow this path, and hopefully Jivan Mukta. Janaka is Jivan Mukta. He is not, there are various kinds of muktis in our scripture. There is Videha Mukti, you die and then you merge with the divine. But there is also this Mukti called Jivan Mukti. You are free even as you are alive and you go about doing things. It's a change of the attitude. From earlier, the idea is that body and all this mind has to be transcended and then you have to achieve the divine. Here, with all these things also, everything is divine is the attitude. While you are here, you are free because there is no selfishness, no ego, no attachment, nothing. As Kathopanishad says, who is the truly liberated? Who has no desires is liberated, this is. In his heart, there is no desire left. Here and now, such a person is liberated. That is the conclusion of Kathopanishad. This study should make you desireless. Means no selfish desires. Desires for the good of the world is okay. As long as there is no doership and enjoyership in that desire, it is still permitted. It will still lead to liberation. So think on these lines, study a little bit tomorrow and come, and we will start with the first shloka tomorrow onwards, and one by one we will cover most of the important shlokas. And many times the ideas are also repetitive, like Krishna repeats again and again to Arjuna. Arjuna, once again I am telling you what I have just now told, like that. And finally in the 18th chapter he summarizes the entire Bhagavad Gita like that. Ashtavakra also in many parts of this text would go back and repeat, Janaka, once again I explained to you, like that. Sometimes Janaka asks, please tell me again what you have told just now. So there are many repetitions. We won't go through all those, but most of the important shlokas we'll cover. We're starting this on an auspicious day of Krishnashtami, the Jagat Guru, the Vishwaguru that Sri Krishna is, who gave Bhagavad Gita to the entire world. And we are only continuing in that path by studying Ashtavakra Gita, because we have already studied Bhagavad Gita, and whichever God, whichever sage, whichever saint speaks, it is the same divine consciousness that is speaking. As Krishna says, I am there in all. Bijaham sarva bhutanam. I am in the form of the seed. I am the origin of all. I am the end of all. I am in all. Therefore, in Ashtavakra also, it's Sri Krishna only in that consciousness form which is telling this story, telling this wisdom. So let us be worthy Arjunas, worthy Janakas to receive this wisdom and benefit from it.